Hi, I'm Faster EFT practitioner Kim Brown. Glad you could join me today. And with us also today is Level 4 Faster EFT practitioner Ilka Oster from Australia. Welcome, Ilka.
Thank you for having me, Kim. I'm so excited to do this interview with you.
Well, we're excited to have you with us today. And your specialty is wealth. Is that right?
Yes, that's what I have been working with people over, especially over the whole of last year. Yes, it's been fun.
Well, very good. Well, on your website, you say that you specialize in working with people who want to power up their inner wealth and let go of the beliefs that hold them back from reaching their full potential in every aspect of life. So,
Yeah,
Ilka, that sounds marvelous.
it is
How do you
do
do that? How do you do it?
Yeah, how do you do it? That's it. So like as I was growing up and going through my own battles with, this thing called money. I started to learn that there is a lot of programming around money, a lot of beliefs around money. So and how you get it and what you do with it and all of those things. So my community of people and at my Wealthy Worthy Wild community is really about delving into those beliefs and that conditioning that we have around money so that we can let that conditioning go and basically then do what really inspires us in our life and really is our passion and what excites us and what gives us joy, and really understand that that can be something that you can actually create. I like to say create inner wealth will then attract outer wealth, but it's hard to believe that when you don't have any proofs yet. So it's a process of persistence, and it's a process of letting go of the conditioning until you line up with the life that is your fullest potential, and more and more and more of that.
But could someone like me who grew up not wealthy at all, I mean, very far from it, would I have really, really and truly, would I have the possibility within me to have wealth since I've never had it? My family doesn't have a history of it.
I would definitely say yes. There certainly, though, is huge beliefs in society that, like even someone who wins the lottery, for example, if they've grown up in a childhood where they were very poor, they often lose all the money, because they don't. It's often, I think, more about belief in themselves, though, and a belief in being able to keep that money, because I truly believe that it's all just about your belief system about yourself. So if you've grown up in an environment, say, where you're poor, you have these beliefs that you maybe need to give it all away, or your family members will come and take it, or there's so many things that you can explore around. A great question to ask is, what bad things would happen if I got that much money? Say you were given $1 million, what bad things would happen? And that usually brings up some of these things, like, oh, well, someone might want it, or I wouldn't know what to do with it, or, so it's really exploring your belief systems around money, and then seeing from a Faster EFT perspective, we know that they're normally connected back to a relationship that you had with money, but normally with one of your primary caregivers, and their relationship to it.
So that's interesting. I can remember as a child thinking, oh, if I had $100, I would do this. But then if I got money, like say I got $100, I would think, should I really spend it all on that one thing, or should I get 100 things?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be wiser?
Yeah. So I think with the whole money thing, and I'm not obviously not a financial advisor, and how you should go about spending your money and all of this, but I'm helping people really to understand how they let go of that programming how they let go of the program that I should be doing this, because even that should, like, oh, I should do it this way, has come from your programming, you know. So it's still not, I'm my thing is to empower people to come from a place of confidence and passion and a real confidence in themselves, and help them to step into their power so that they can start creating the life that they want based on, and that may mean that they still stay in a job for a couple of years or whatever while they build and lose conditioning so they can move into something that's more enlivened for them, like more spark, more fun, more joy. Yeah.
So is there really, though, enough money out there?
Yeah, well, there's another common belief that people have, that there's lack in the world. I mean, there's massive belief systems around that you know, that even, you know, the population, that there won't be enough. There's so many belief systems around lack. So yeah, that's huge societal conditioning, as well as, of course, you know, you will have heard your parents say, oh, well, you've got to eat all your food because the children in India or Africa are starving, you know. So we all have very huge programming around lack, but it's really recognizing that that's what it is. It's beliefs. And when you change your beliefs, you know, really powerful things. And I always say to my clients, every video I make, which last year was a lot of them, I would end by saying, create miracles, like expect miracles, create miracles. Because when you start to let go of conditioning, you can really step across the river of change into this life that at the moment you don't seem to have too many proofs around how that would be for you. And I certainly didn't when I started out on this journey. I didn't have that much proof around how it feels to be in your power and be really confident as a person. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have been doing an interview like this. But as you let go of that conditioning, you really can step into that power. And then, you know, things start to open up to you. You start to see things. They call it, if you want a scientific term, your reticular activating system in your brain starts to see things. Like a pregnant woman usually sees all these prams and things that she's never seen before. I mean, I remember that. I went to a market when I was first pregnant. I was like, there's all these other people that are pregnant. How did that happen? I'd never seen them. And that's what starts to happen when you let go of conditioning and you start taking on new beliefs. You actually start to see things that you've never seen before, or meet people, and you start to just see things from a new perspective. The more you let it go, the more that starts to happen. And the more you start to actually understand what really feels good for you.
So when we're holding on to the stress or being the workaholic and we feel like that's what's given us wisdom, it sounds like that's not the case.
Yeah, and that was a big one for me. I had linked up that hard work equals money. And I think a lot of people link that up. But really, what is that? When you really drill down on that, what does that? It's really that hard work equaled dad's approval. That's what it really is. You know, so people think it's like hard work will give me money. But if you go back to the childhood self, it's like I saw dad get money from hard work. So there's that as well, that mimicking of that pattern. But also, if I remember when I was in my early 20s, you know, I would go out and I would work all this overtime. I would get the hardest jobs possible. You know, I was cleaning rooms and then going and working in restaurants, and I had to make it really hard, Kim. And so, and then I had so much joy. I mean, my greatest joy was to ring my father and tell him how hard I was working and how I was making all this money that some people my age weren't making because they just weren't working hard enough. But it was killing me in the process. Like, it was very stressful. I wasn't doing what I loved, that's for sure. I was just trying to prove a point to my dad. So I think that a lot of people are coming from that place with hard work, and they don't really perhaps realize that it's a lot about approval or getting appreciation from your family, because that's sense of belonging. And people often, you know, will get pulled back when they start to actually go into something where they're shining and they're really passionate about something. You know, someone might criticize them for that. So without these tools of letting go a lot of the conditioning and a lot of this, like you say, the stress and the emotional charge around that through a tool like Fast EFT, you will get pulled back in all the time. Even when you might use your willpower to try and go and do it, and that'll work for a little while, just like going to the gym works every January. The gym memberships go like this. So it always works for a little while, but then if you haven't really got the root cause of where all of that's coming from, and you haven't worked on, like we do in Fast EFT, we're working on the root cause and the root, really taking the emotional charge out of some of the reasons that I was always seeking my dad's approval, and that was way more important to me than going after my own dreams at the, back in my 20s and that. But it was incredibly stressful.
So the proofs are what drive us to make our choices, and you're able to help people to change these proofs.
Yeah.
How do you go about doing that?
Yes, well, as you know, the Fast EFT process is incredibly powerful, and we're really going back and noticing what bothers you in your daily life. So, the money is an awesome thing because it does tend to bring up people's stuff.
Oh yeah.
You just mention the word and people are straight away into their programming. So it's an awesome tool for that. So if you just do a simple exercise like money means, and you just go with that first unconscious thing, that would be something that I do with clients as well. But I'm really asking, what is their biggest bother around money? I'm trying to find the biggest thing that's really holding them back around their money beliefs. And so we would become very aware of that, and then use the Fast EFT process to go back and find, where did this start? What were the driving factors behind, or the memories that really are holding this pattern in place? And so we're going back and changing those and taking and giving them a different meaning to what they have now. I mean, the interesting thing with me is I couldn't see a lot of the positives that came out of growing up in a business family and having a lot of stress and hard work, because it was so overcrowded by the stress and the charge around some of the other stuff that had happened, that all of that positive stuff, there was a lot of that, like a lot of positives from growing up, and even the hard work ethic has its positives, but none of that was really being brought to the fore because of the other things. So this is the beauty of going back, really making peace with the memories that you have, that you're holding, which are, usually trauma, something traumatic that's happened, usually with somebody in your family. Doesn't have to be, it could be a boss, but normally that's a repeat pattern of something that happened in childhood. So doesn't have to be, but normally is. And so we go back and we change all that and we give it a different meaning. And then it's totally life transforming. That, I mean, how much it's the whole identity. The next thing you have to deal with is, who am I now? Because we've used this hard work thing and this proving thing for so long that it feels weird to be driven by passion. But if we that's why it's persistence. You keep working on it. I mean, I go down the beach and I tap because there's such a program around, you can't just be relaxing and having fun. You got to be hardworking. So I tap on resistance to even feeling really relaxed when I'm in beautiful places, because there's a part of me that's like, I shouldn't be doing this. And I think it's an ongoing process, but once you've really changed those memories, that the big ones, like the big trauma that happened to you, and that doesn't mean there's this thing around big trauma. This is anything that upsets you. I mean, I've had clients where a teacher has chucked chalk at them over them expressing their individuality and their own passion, and that has shut them down for 30 years. So we just go back and change the meaning of that memory, change the memory to how they would have wanted it to be, and take the emotional charge from our process of tapping and change everything. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, tell us about your passion and how you have seen it come forth.
I know. That's just so exciting. And this has just happened in the last few days that we've actually launched our website. But one of my passions growing up was traveling, and also I love people. I love meeting new people. I had the opportunity to go to Japan as an exchange student, so that was an amazing. And I saw in that experience how wonderful it is to mix with a different culture and to just meet, and to see, because there you see a difference in belief systems and how it operates. And so that was just fascinating to me. And I always had this really, like to meet cultures like the Nepalese people and the American Indians, and a lot of these old cultures was another passion of mine. So when I was 12 years old, I brought home some brochures from school of this company called World Expeditions, which I think they're still going. And I just thought, oh, wow, look at this. You could trek in the world and you could meet all these different cultures. Plus you could be taking, different people. I mean, I love a chat, of course. So I was like, oh my goodness, I could just chat to people and visit different places, and it would be amazing, and you'd learn so much. And so I said to my mum, I want to be a tour guide in the Himalayas. Like, she remembers me saying that.
Wow.
I know, it's so funny. So, we fast forward, it was actually 2016 that I met Lisa, but to now, 2017, so this amazing woman I met, and we found out that we had joint goals of loving places like the Himalayas. And then she sent me a message one day saying, I need to talk to you about something. And I really didn't actually know what she wanted to talk to me about, but the hairs just went up on my arms and the back of my neck. And I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Anyway, so she was asking me if I would be a guest coach on her walking women's retreat, 15-day walking women's retreat to Nepal.
Wow.
I know. And so this is the power of letting go of conditioning, and stepping into that and that power. And I actually did another interview this morning, and I was saying I didn't know what stepping into my power was like. I didn't know what that felt like. I had no idea. I was a huge people pleaser. Had massive conditioning around that, and so I was always going outside. Oh, I need to help you, and I need to help you, and I need to make sure that you're happy, and and so to be, and doesn't mean to say you can't help other people. Right. In fact, you help people more from that place of personal power and stepping into your own confidence and your own passion. You can do a lot more.
It's hard to give out of an empty cup.
Yeah, beautiful. Exactly. So so that's been an exciting, and that I talk about in my, Wealthy, Worthy, Wild community about letting go of the how in manifesting. One of the first rule of manifesting is assume the state of the wish fulfilled. So that means get into the visuals, get into the hearing state, getting into the feeling state of aligning with your passion, aligning with what you see yourself as being. So if you would like to be an amazing speaker, you would just see yourself on the stage, you hear yourself speaking, you feel what that's like to have everyone, listening to you and all of that. So that's the first rule of manifesting. And when you do that, you let go of the how. And I think with this Nepal experience, I let go of the how when I was 12 years old. I was just like, oh, well. I mean, I've always been so passionate about that, and I've always had that Nepal picture on my vision board, but I'd really kind of let go of the how. I mean, you don't know sometimes when the universe is going to bring these things, but here we are, and this trip is a reality that you can check out the website.
Yes, and I will have that at the end of this video.
Yeah.
So what we need to do then is act as if we already have it, and not try to plan out the steps to getting there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, definitely. And use tools like Fast EFT to let go of conditioning. That is a massive step, because I mean, some research says, and people like Bruce Lipton are saying, that the unconscious is 95% of our mind. So our conditioning is 95%, and that's pretty big.
Yeah.
So we kind of say that's like putting a jumbo jet against a bicycle. So if you go out and even though, I mean, at the start, I really struggled with that, like visualizing things and getting into that ideal state. I had to spend a lot of time letting go of conditioning before I could really feel, I'm still working on this thing of really feeling it and seeing it. I don't have visuals so much. They're there. They're stronger now than they used to be. But that hearing it and just practicing that is amazing. But if you're finding that difficult to do, that's because the conditioning is just huge.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So you need to go back and work on that conditioning. Because it's like, the bicycle jumbo jet. It's a no-brainer.
That's a good thing to know.
Yeah, I was interviewing a lady the other day. She's just about to hit 20,000 on her Facebook page, and she's very good with her business, makes a lot of money in her business every year, and very successful lady. And she said, like, I was asking her about coaching, I was asking her about mindset and the power of emotional intelligence. And she said that when she first started in business, she didn't have business coaches because she's quite good at that side of the business stuff herself. But she used tools like tapping. I mean, and she said she still does every single day. She uses tapping. So she's journaling at night to bring up the stuff, and also tracking her money. This is an awesome thing for people to do too, is to track every day their money, because it's going to bring up your conditioning response, and then you can see what you need to tap on, and you'll have something to tap on. Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. But she was adamant that she used 50% of her day really goes into removing conditioning to keep her moving up, leveling in her business. And I totally agree. It was great to hear it from her.
Yeah, well, you mentioned earlier persistence, so.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So tell us about your growing inner wealth system. What exactly is that?
Well, my growing inner wealth system is, if you come and you want to work with me, you can go to my About page and basically read through all of that, and then you'll come in and you can start doing personal sessions with me. We do 6 over the 3 months in that program, and we run through the 10 steps that I have to all the stuff that I've been talking about. So that's really starting with understanding how the mind works and making a commitment to yourself. I won't run through all the steps, but there's a massive amount of the main ones are understanding how the mind works, really making a commitment to yourself. I call it marrying yourself. And this brings up a lot of stuff too for people. Like, marry myself, look at yourself in the mirror and actually tell yourself that you love yourself. And I couldn't have done that before Fast True Tea.
Didn't.
No, exactly. So, but now that's quite easy for me to do. If it brings up things, I just tap. But it's not nowhere near, like there's a little bit there every now and again, but not like it used to be. So marrying yourself, finding your why. That's another huge thing. Finding out why do you do what you do? Like, that often will help you to understand. So for me, my family is obviously a big thing, and this passion I have for what I talked about before, travel and people and learning. So we look at that. We look at goals. We look at how you want, what do you want to experience in life? How do you want to grow? And then from that, what do you want to contribute to the world? So we go through lots and lots of different exercises. One of the other main things is knowing what you value. And one of my clients said that once she went through my course, she went, "Oh my God, I realized it's not about having in Melbourne in Australia, where she was from. Toorak is like the the suburb, the rich suburb, you know. So she would say, she said, oh, it's not about having a Turek mansion, it's about having what I want. And I was like, yes, because this is the other thing. We have this thing with wealth that it's about we all have to be a certain way, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get people to actually not be like. It's like everyone is an individual, everyone has their own passions. If you think stamp collecting is the best ants pants and it's making you happy, it's how you can do more of that, you know, or how just to do more of the things that really light you up in the world, and knowing that if you shift your belief system, that can become a reality for you. So we really look at values. And when people ask me what's one of the most important things I teach, it's really hard for me to narrow that down, but values would have to be one of the top ones, because if you know what you value in life, like if family is the top value, you'll normally realize that you actually have most of the things that you really value, because you've always put your effort towards that. So therefore it's just a really good thing to become aware of. So they're the top kind of 5 concepts that we cover, and then it's really learning the tapping system and letting go of the resistance as well. And I also join people to my Facebook group where they can be involved with other people doing that. So it's in a shared environment, and you can see my testimonials and things of people who have been through that system and how much it helped them, because they can you know, be doing it with others and see that other people are also struggling with the same things that they are. Yeah.
Very
which is
good.
cool. Yeah, it's really cool.
That sounds awesome. And the why, I would imagine that oftentimes people discover that the why they're doing something isn't at all why they want to be doing that thing.
Yes.
Does that ever happen?
Oh, definitely. Because again, and there's a brilliant video by Vishen from Mindvalley who talks about means goals and end goals, right? And we kind of are taught growing up that we should have means goals, which means if we go to school and we get this good education and we get this, that the society tells us that that's going to be a guaranteed that we'll have the life that we want, right? And so that he would call that means goals, but we haven't. And so in that whole process of going through that, we haven't even considered what the end goal is for us, what we really want to do while we're here. What do we want to experience? How do we want to grow in our lives? What do we want to learn? And what do we want to, and then how do we want to contribute? Once we've really filled our cup, as you say, then how can we, because I think our greatest joy comes from contributing. I really do. Contributing to others. I'm just getting my dog to, she's snoring. So I'm just... So it's contributing to others that is our greatest joy. But if we haven't really learned this process of letting go of a lot of our conditioning and that, our greatest contributions are left in programming and in our conditioned self, and that may not be, you know, the best place to be contributing from. Right. So not to say that you're always doing the best you can and you're always contributing in the most, you know, in the best way that you can, but if you can let go of some of this stuff and really move into what really lights you up, then I think, you know, it just starts to become a whole new reality for you and a whole new identity. And I know you've experienced this too.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And that's why I'm sitting here with you today.
Yeah, that's why we are. And exactly. And this, you know, as I said, I love a chat. So this is like my ideal reality too, is to be just having chats about this stuff. I mean, it's so fun. Yeah.
So tell us what you have available for clients right now.
So if you go to my website, you can read through my about page, and then you can book in a 30-minute connection session with me. There's a link. I like people to kind of read my about page, because if they go in there and read that, that'll really show them whether they're going to resonate with me and whether they're really ready to work with me. So, or that, you know, we line up together and that they're happy with what I'm just kind of what I'm going on about. So they can do that and book in with me. That's the way to work with me one-on-one. If that's not suiting you at the moment, then you can definitely go, and there's also a link on my website to join my online community, which is on Facebook. Yeah, and just go through the process that way. And that's actually only $10 a month, so that's incredibly cheap. And that's where I also, I do work with other people in need that perhaps can't afford to work with me, and that group has been set up so that can happen as well. And as part of that group, we do interview those people sometimes if they're open to that, just to show the changes that we're making to those people too.
Oh, that's very good.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah.
So tell us about She Steps into Power. Is that something that people could sign up for?
Yes, definitely. So that's www.lisasimons.com, and you're going to put that on the bottom there. But yes, we are looking for 12 amazing women who are just as passionate about self-transformation and traveling and seeing these amazing, like this Annapurna Base Camp trail that we're going to be walking is one of the most spectacular views of the Himalayas. Like, that's why that trail is there. So if you've ever wanted to go to Nepal and you're interested in doing transformational work, what better way to do it? With a group of 12 women.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
So Ilka, is there anything else that you would like to share with our viewers today?
Just to understand that when you think to ring somebody like Kim or I or a fast EFT practitioner, because that's a great thing to think about doing, because it's really, I think if you're going to start on this journey, you need to work with tools like this. Like they've transformed my life. So I'm super passionate about them. But the problem is that when you think about ringing us, the little voice is going to come in and say, no, do it tomorrow. And we all have that voice. But what I would say to you is just start, because with my online community, you can start very easily. You can ease into it. You don't even have to introduce yourself if you don't want to. You can just be a little bystander and just watch, but start. There's a woman at the moment that's got this book about the 5-second rule or something, and it basically says that you'll have this inspiration to do something, and 5 seconds later, probably less, your brain starts to tell you not to do it. So I would say, please stop listening to that brain. That is your conditioning. And the older you are, the more you have of it. So go on the inspiration to call a fast EFT practitioner, whoever that is, whether that's Kim or anyone in the world, or someone that you can work with, or any transformational person that's using any tool that you are drawn to. Just turn that little voice off and do what you are, that part of you that knows that this is the next step for me is saying to do. That would be what I would like to say to people.
Very good. Thank you. That is powerful.
It is, yeah.
Well, it was good to see you again, Ilka.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
And Ilka and I thank all of you for watching today. Be sure to watch to the end so that you can see all of Ilka's contact information and sign up for that trek that she's taking. That will be awesome. Or just watch out on Facebook. If you need us to step in slowly, then do it that way. Whatever works for you, but give yourself the chance. Because remember, no matter what you've experienced in the past, today is a new day. See you next time.